Okay, so we had this compressor, I think back when I had the Ducati, and it's worked fine for everything I needed it to do, but one day it was on, and hopefully you can see the corrosion just in there, and it literally blew the end off, and I found bits in the garage, and it's been sat there unused ever since. But what we've got is a cheapie from Amazon. I mean, it really is. This metal is, I can barely class it as metal. There's burrs inside that I've had to scrape out best I can. I certainly don't think you can use any PTFE tape or anything like that. So what we've got instead is, if I can find what I've done with it, oh, it's right in front of me, is some liquid PTFE tape. So you literally smear that around the threads, assemble it, just try and nip it up slightly, and then leave it for 15-20 minutes, and that should do the job. There's 2 wires going into this, and basically it's an activator here. On and off is on the top, which is this red on and then off, and it just pushes that down, and as you can see, removes the contacts. I think there's also a pressure sensor here. I don't know whether that's used on, oh it is, yeah, you can see the metal pipe goes to that. Hopefully it's all the same fitting wires, 2 wires going in there. Obviously important to get those the right way. Actually no, it's not important to get those the right way round, because they're only connecting to these contacts, so it makes stuff all different. Yeah, so there we go. And the reason I'm fixing this now is because I've got a Makita Brad Nailer which I've never used, and I want to get the plywood put up onto the battens in the new workshop with it. It will just save a lot of time, so hopefully this will work. I believe somebody said that this regulator does absolutely nothing. It's completely loose and appears to do nothing, whereas the real one seems to be quite well spring loaded, quite tight, and well, I don't know what's inside that, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get this assembled and back later. Okay, so we are back again. A couple of things to bear in mind. You are going to have to take off some of the fittings before this main body will unscrew from the red pipe there. Now, whatever you need to take off is going to be stiff, and you're going to need spanners, and don't assume that this one came off with just 1 or 2 things unscrewed. Don't think that the other one's going to go back on in the same manner. It might be that certain parts are bigger or longer, etc. So yeah, assemble what you can. Obviously this bit has got to be assembled onto the main valve piece here. Put the gauges on. Do not put this one on or these 2 because you won't get it on. Now, to get the old one off, I have used this 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch basin wrench. You're going to need a lot of pressure, because you're probably going to find like this, it's pretty corroded inside and outside. There is also a nut that you're going to have to undo first, and then remove the bits, and then undo this with the big spanner. Now, some of these parts you may wish to transfer. Certainly you're going to need to reuse the little nuts, screws and bits for the earths. There's 2 holes either side on the new one, but there's no nuts and bolts and bits and pieces in there. You may wish to take this cable clamp off. This is going to stop, maybe it will. Basically that sits like that, and the cables come up through the grommets and through this, and they're done up and then fed into the various terminals. Now I haven't used it in my case, mainly because to get these two screws out, you can see one will come out, but the other one is hidden by this piece of plastic, and I simply can't be asked to disassemble this whole unit. It's 4 bolts, and that should all lift out, and maybe that nut there. The grommets on the new one that go through here, I wouldn't rely on those in a environment where more than one person is using it. There's only me ever going to use this, and I won't be pulling on either of those cables. They're in there quite tight, but ideally you should transfer the metal plate. The Draper PTFE is good, a liquid PTFE. It's a yellow colour, and set time is 15 minutes, and yeah, it's particularly strong. Leave it as long as you possibly can. Do not over tighten any of these connections, because this crap alloy that they've used will just simply crack. So a gentle nip up any of the connections, just nip them up gently, let the PTFE go off. It's an aerobic, so it will go off in the air, and you know, that's it. No particular issues with the wiring. They are labelled neutral and live earth, so yeah, pretty straightforward. Wipe any of the stuff off that you get anywhere, and hopefully that will be done. Check your oil level whilst we're here. You can probably see that is up to the red mark, so all good. And also check the airline oil that is in the garage. I've left that on the wall. So you need air and a tiny trace of oil when you're using these power tools with the airline, just for lubrication. So that's it. I'm going to let that go off. We'll get the new lid back on, hopefully, and that should be good to go. Wrong way around it. I'm just going to need to bend those cables in. Oh, there we go. And then you've just got the on and off, plus it can be triggered by the pressure in the pipe here. Do be careful undoing that. It's very flexible, that pipe, so you shouldn't have any issues undoing it from both ends, and just removing it before you unscrew the main manifold. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully it'll still work, and for about 17-18 quid. I know it's cheap and nasty, but you know, it's saved this and got it running for this ply sheet that I've got to fit. So yeah, there we go. And probably bin the rest. Probably not much point in keeping them. They're all a bit corroded and rusty. Probably is about 7 or 8, 9 years old. Anyway, I hope that was useful.